4 wingers on the pitch, 2 right, 5 wingers playing left back. And it's like, and I said, you've got to give them all credit. They don't train to get through it as they did. The speed volumes actually. It is what it's good. Yeah. Is that confirming? Can I tell our guys expecting to check? I mean, we won't report it, but are you sure that's the case? Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, hang on, Charlie, give me a second. Sorry, Charlie, back with you. No, it's very difficult to predict because if we just come to the right slightly, you see that big fence. That big fence behind the goal. So that's they come from. The first time we see them is when they're appearing behind that over there. So we don't get any warning. We don't see them walking off or forward. So they're not. Oh, they're here. It's a bit like that, mate. Brilliant, thank you, mate. And I've just sent. I'll start in business, but I've just sent a message out all 26 days. It's expected to be out there, mate. So make sure everybody. So exactly that. Yeah, I'll mention that in the first one. I'll keep you posted, mate. As soon as we see them start dribbling past that still gives us a minute or two to have everybody down. So, and the FA start their stop watch on all 26 of them. Have you got a farm on there at the end of part 3 or as long, I mean, I say that unless they're later than they have been. Just mention to Robbie Watton not to linger on the last shot if we're taking a strike process to the wire.
Confirm to me.
Robbie was still talking over the picture for about 20 seconds after, and then the security came up and moved the camera away.
Exactly the same as Gilson's going. Gilson versus the worst player. R1 and the R3. Exactly. The worst player. Leipzig is very good ball. Holding good. I don't know, there must have something weird with the second side. Because they're not old balls. It's normally only old balls. Yeah. So I don't know what they've done with the but no, Jackie was devastated on the first game. She said, no one was better than me. I shot mechanical all the time in the game because that's been that bad. I'd rather not do that on quality control though. No, you're right. I have to look for quality. I must have done some top freelancers that look to big G. But they're still using their Nikon shutters. That's the thing. I'd rather rather have the picture on my. I don't want the back line on my stock. No, the goal now. I don't care. Coming out now. They're coming out, they're coming out.
No,
Faces, they're coming out.
Eddie's out.
The most important person is Eddie. Eddie's out.
Yep. Eddie's there, we know the big cheeses are coming.
Bellingham was on earth.
Yeah, I saw that.
Did anybody get it?
I would do.
Yeah?
Gordon Bellingham training.
Say Gordon Bellingham.
Bellingham.
Okay, Charlie, we're ready when you are, mate. No, that's all good, mate. They'll start the clock now, so we're ready when you are, pal.
I've got no bookings there.
So, wide first, and then Trippier, Shaw, Stones and Gage. Might want to have a look, see where they are. No, not with the camera, just with your eyes, so you can see. You get an impression if you look now where they are. Look. So Kane's on the left, Mann's on the left with Kane.
One's a really good football, chasing rugby or American football.
That's it.
Yeah, it's back to a thing there.
Okay, mate. By the time you get there, they'll have moved, yeah. But you know. Rob, it's the most important thing we ever tell you when we see the England live training, because all 26 members of the England squad are out there on the grass today. That's a huge boost to Gareth Southgate. Remember, they were all given the day off yesterday. None of them did anything football related. Only Jude Bellingham did a tiny bit of media talking to the FA's diary room. But seeing all 26 out there is a huge, huge boost. Remember, this is the biggest gap England will have between matches if they go all the way to the final, as we hope they will. It's a 6-day gap between the last 16 games and the quarter-final. From here on in, if they win against Switzerland on Saturday, it'll be a 3-day turnaround between each of the semi-finals and the finals. So they enjoyed that day off, but it's back to business right now. All 26 out there. Right in the middle of your picture, look, we can see Kieran Trippier, and that's good news because we know he's been struggling with a bit of a calf strain. In fact, let's just move across to John Stones. He's got some pretty heavy strapping on that right knee. That is something new. That's something we weren't expecting. He did have a bit of strapping on his right knee, right thigh when he came off after the game. I had a quick chat with him in the mix zone as he walked past. And the fact that he's out there training is a relief, but that looks pretty heavy strapping, you have to say, on John Stones, doesn't it? So clearly he's got some issue there that the FA medical staff are kind of monitoring and trying to support as much as possible. But we'll try and find out a bit more about that later on. But the fact that Kieran Trippier's out there, we know he was struggling with a calf strain, wasn't he, at the end of Newcastle's season. We know that he's been carrying that into the start of this international tournament as well, and he got a really hefty challenge as well from one of the Slovakian players that hurt his knee. He was pretty battered and bruised coming off that last 16 game against Slovakia, but he's out there, he's fit, he's training, which is really good news for him and for England. And look who's alongside him. They're all in exactly the same place where we want them to be. Mark Gay, England's best defender for me, has been outstanding in this tournament so far, but he's suspended. He got a second yellow card against Slovakia in the tournament. That means he is suspended for this quarter-final game on Saturday against Switzerland, and so lots of questions about who might come in for him. Let's see if we find Luke Shaw, shall we, because that's the other bit of interesting news, and team news, and significant team news that we've been talking to you about throughout the whole of the tournament, really. Remember, Gareth Southgate said it was a real gamble to bring him in and include him in this squad. There he is in the middle there. He's been out on the grass for the last few sessions with England now. Has told a couple of reporters as he walked through the media areas that he thinks he's good to go in the next game. I think the plan was for Gareth Southgate to try and get 10 or 15 minutes out of him in the quarter-final, but circumstances in the game meant that wasn't possible at all. Is it possible that he could start at left-back? With Kieran Trippier out there and training, I very much doubt it. I think Southgate will still revert to plan A, even though it's been delayed, and try and get Luke Shaw on the pitch at some point in the game if England are winning it comfortably. But there are absolutely no guarantees about that with the form that they've been in this tournament so far, are there? So it might be difficult for Luke Shaw to come on as left back, but Southgate knows he's his only left-footed left back option, and it gives England some much needed width on the pitch. So we wait to see. Interestingly, we will hear from Luke Shaw. He's talking to the media. First time he's done England media in this tournament. That'll be 2:30. We'll bring that to you live on Sky Sports. What does the man himself think about his fitness? Is he ready to go? I'm sure he'll say he absolutely is ready to go and he's fine. But we'll talk to him a little bit later on at 2:30 on Sky Sports News. Well, yeah, Jude Bellingham was in the diary room, and he said some really nice things, actually. He talked for the first time really openly about the goal, and he paid tribute to Mark Gay. You see if they turned the sprinklers on for us, the FA was really nice of them, so it looks like Jude Bellingham's in a thunderstorm. He isn't. That sprinkler is between us and him. But he did get some time off yesterday, and when he spoke in the diary room, he paid a big tribute to Mark Gay. He called him the most humble man in the squad, and he didn't want any attention for that flick on that set Bellingham up for that wonder goal that kept England in this tournament. And Bellingham did say, my God, it's definitely one of the most important and memorable moments of my career so far. But he was spotted in town where we're staying, in Erfurt, when he went out with his mum and father yesterday in a cafe. In fact, somebody in the FA has just told me that when I went for a run yesterday afternoon, I ran straight past him while he was sitting in the cafe, and I never even noticed him. So that's good journalism, isn't it? That was brilliant. We could have got a bit exclusive with Jude Bellingham, but didn't manage it. But no, the whole point of yesterday was to completely ignore football, forget about it, spend some time with their friends and family, which is what they did. I mean, they did it once earlier in the tournament as well, and Harry Kane said that there were kids running all over the place in the team hotel, bouncy castles and horse riding activities, and he said it lasted 5 hours, and maybe we should have cut it a bit shorter. So maybe when we speak to Luke Shaw a little bit later on, we'll ask him exactly what went on yesterday. Really interesting one, because as I say, I think Mark Gay is a huge miss, the way he's performed in this tournament so far. But I think that's Ezri Konsa. No, that's Ivan Toney. If we can try and find Ezri Konsa, I think he, for me, is the most likely man to come in to replace Mark Gay. There he is, got the middle of the picture there, the Aston Villa man. He's been so consistent all season for Aston Villa, and it's been made pretty clear to me from the people I've been speaking to that he's the first cab on the rank if any of England's defenders are not available. So he's shown his versatility already, left back, right back, centre back. and I think he will come into England's central defence in place of Mark Gay. There is some discussion around the camp about whether Southgate might switch to a back three, something he hasn't done for 3 years. Last time he did that was against Germany in Euro 2020. It worked. England beat Germany 2-0. And they do have that option, don't they? Because it could be, again, I still think it would be Concert, it would be John Stones and Kyle Walker. But what would he do about wing-backs when he's got so few options at left-back in that situation? Maybe Bukayo Saka could play left wing-back in the back of the picture there. Maybe Trent Alexander-Arnold could go to a right wing-back position. So it is possible that Southgate could go to a back three. He actually was asked that question by TalkSport immediately after the game against Slovakia the other night, and he was asked, could you go with a back three? And his answer was, let's see. Read into that what you will. But yeah, Concert is an outstanding form, and actually Bukayo Saka has paid tribute to him. He's told the newspapers this particular quote. He says, in some sessions I do a little 1-versus-1 training with Ezri, because for me he's one of the best in the Premier League defending one-on-one. So he improves me and I improve him as well, so I'm enjoying coming up against him. Little insight there into how maybe some of the little partnerships and training routines go on inside the England camp when the cameras are turned off. Saka talking up Ezri Konsa and the job that he does. For me, now that we've seen Trippier out there, now that we've seen him training, I think Southgate will stick with the flat back four with Ezri Konsa coming in from Mark Gay. These are all, it could and it would be a good option. And look, for me, I think that would be a good option. I think that one of England's biggest problems in the tournament so far is that they've been outgunned in midfield. They haven't been able to control the ball as much as they would have liked. I was looking at some of the statistics. England have had 60% possession on average throughout the tournament. 59.7%, really extremely accurate. Only Portugal and Germany have averaged more than that so far. But England have had more passes than any other nation so far in their own half. So that would suggest they're not progressing the ball through the thirds as much. I mean, look, anecdotally, a lot of England fans have said too many of the players are turning backwards and passing sideways or backwards. But if they can get an extra body in midfield, if they can get that natural width with wing-backs by playing 3 centre-backs, maybe that's an answer to the problems. It's not something Southgate's done or even thought about for 3 years, so it would be a significant change in plan if he was to do that. But interesting to see what they do. Bobby Mainoo, though, is the man who's come into that central midfield, and he's been outstanding. There he is, look, and that's nice. You've got him and Conor Gallagher together. And I felt a bit sorry for Conor Gallagher when he got his chance to start in that third group game against Slovakia, and then he was hauled off at half time, replaced by Mainoo, and Mainoo got his first start in the last 16 games. I thought Gallagher did okay. I think he did what his job is, which is to show real energy and dynamism and win the ball back, which he did really quite effectively. But Mainoo, I think, has offered the best of both worlds for Gareth Southgate when it comes to passing ability, getting England going through the thirds, but also winning the ball back. He's not as good a passer as Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's not as good in terms of recovering the ball as Conor Gallagher, but he's the best all-rounder of those two that I think England have got. So I think Southgate has solved that central midfield conundrum. I do think it'll be Bobby Mainoo that keeps his place alongside Declan Rice for this final game. But as I say, more of that over the coming days. We'll find out more detail as the days progress. That's an interesting one, because that's where the England manager has suddenly refused to make any changes that people have called for. He's been the same through before, hasn't he, throughout the tournament? And there has been a cloud of and I think he's had a big impact when he has come on. But he's had very little game time in this tournament. He is a player who looks to get beyond his full-back. In the same way Bukayo Saka was looking at his ball, and he's a bit of pace down on the wing, very direct in his running. And I think that there was a clamour for that to happen. Likewise, Cole Palmer. But again, when you're talking about Cole Palmer, you're talking about somebody who's playing on the right wing with his left foot, and Anthony Gordon playing on the left wing with his right foot. One of the problems that I think England have had is their so I don't know whether Gareth Southgate sees that option. I still think he might stick with largely what he's been doing so far with his game plan in terms of his attacking options. There's Harry Kane on the right, by the way. 2 goals in 2 games in the knockout stages, even though he's not been absolutely at his best. Phil Foden, it's a big call if Gareth Southgate thinks about dropping Phil Foden, isn't it? And there's Cole Palmer, the man we've just been talking about, has an extraordinary season with Chelsea. All of these attacking options are hugely positive options. At the moment, Southgate's been using those impact substitutes. Might he go forward from the start? I'll tell you what, Luke Shaw's a really good talker. So these are the sort of issues we can address with him when he speaks to the media a little bit later on. And of course, we'll get an update on his fitness and whether he feels ready to go from the start in a massive game against Switzerland in the European Championships quarter-finals. Is that realistic for Luke Shaw? After more than 4 months, almost 5 months now with no football, that he goes right from not playing any football to suddenly starting for England. I don't think that will happen. I think Luke Shaw will be on the bench and Southgate will hope to get some games. But we'll talk to you later on, Rob. 2:30 UK time. Right, well, let's back up.
If whatever works, but yeah, maybe. Just in case. FA Street. About 14 and a half minutes till. I don't want to get in trouble with security just rolling off a bit for them.
Ladies and gents,